Hi, in this video we're going to cover channels and settings for channels and settings for your overall class team. Okay, so first let's create a channel. How do we create a channel? Is we go up to the three dots next to our class title and then click add a channel. Okay, we're going to name this whatever we want. I'm going to name mine Q&A. So this is this name is already taken. Let's do Q&A 1. All right, so because I want this to be a channel that kids can ask questions in. That's my goal for this channel. So I'm going to just name it. Description is optional. And then privacy, you'll see that there's a standard and a private. Most of the time you're going to use standard. Okay, the private is for if you say you had a group of kids working on a project together, you could make separate channels for them so only those kids could access that channel, along with you, of course, as the teacher. But then you could, they would have a file space and a place to work without their classmates. Okay, so that's why you would use private. Most people are going to use standard. And automatically show this channel in everyone's channel list. You want to click that if it's a standard channel. Okay, so I'm going to click add. Okay, so here's my channel. Now let's go into channel settings. Okay, first I'm going to go to the general channel. Click the three dots next to it, and I'm going to manage this channel. Now, the settings here are for permissions as far as posting messages and such. In the pre-K to 4 teams that we created for them, we made the general channel so that only owners could post a message. The idea behind that is that this would be the place, the general channel would be the place where you would post all of your assignments and class materials. You didn't, and what would happen is if you allowed students to post in there, then the stream could get very long. So what we thought we would do is only owners can post messages in there. And you might ask, well, why did we do that in the general channel and why not make another channel? And I'm going to show you why. Okay, so if I go to my general channel and I go to files, you're going to see the class materials folder. The class materials folder is read-only for students. Okay, so anything you put in there or anything you post is going to be read-only for students. Obviously, we could see if, let's just say this is a worksheet, we can see why we would want that view only, because we don't want the kids all in the same live document. We want them to have their own copy. Okay, so that's why class materials being read-only is really useful. Now, the thing about class materials in this folder is that it only exists by default in the general channel. So that's why we made the general channel the one that kids aren't posting in, and that's the channel just for us to post our class materials. That's why I created the Q&A channel, so that's where students could answer or ask and get answers to questions. Okay, so if I go into manage channel for the Q&A, it's kind of confusing to me that when I go into the Q&A channel settings that it looks like I'm still on the general channel. I just wanted to point that out, but you can see that I'm actually in the Q&A channel. Okay, so channel moderation, I might want to have that on. Okay, and that would be because then I can delete posts if there's something inappropriate, that kind of thing. Okay, so I might keep the channel moderation on, and you can also make it so that certain people can be channel moderators. Right now it's team owners, which would be me, or it would be you in your case. Okay, so team member permissions. So your kids, if these are all checked, they can reply to channel messages. So if one student posts something, another student could reply to that, which isn't a bad thing, because a lot of times they can answer their own questions. Allow bots to submit channel messages. I would uncheck that. Bots are kind of cool and they're a new thing, but to start out, I think I'd leave that off. Because again, you can always come back in here and change these settings later. Allow connectors to submit channel messages. So this is, you can connect different apps. Again, this isn't for beginners. You can connect different apps and stuff to post to your team. Okay, so I'm just going to uncheck those two for now. Okay, and we're good. So now we have our two channels. I'm going to go to the overall settings now. Let's move into that. So I'm going to click on the three dots next to the name of my class, and I'm going to click Manage Team. Now, in another video, we're going to talk about adding members, so I'm not really going to get into this now, but this is where it is. It's the very first tab when you click on the team settings, okay, or manage your team. So under channels, you'll see your channels here. Okay, this is where you can show for you, show for your members. Now, we have found recently that every time you create a channel, what's happened to us is that it shows up as a hidden channel for all students, and they can very simply just kind of hover over it and it says show, and then that unhides it. So it doesn't stop their access, but it just says hidden channels. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. But for all the channels that you create, those are really the settings for that. Okay, and then this is the same screen that we saw when we click the three dots next to each channel. All right, now under settings, team theme. This is pretty cool. So you'll see that H9 is my avatar, okay, my class avatar, and I can pick a theme so that it's more recognizable. If I click on change theme, I can choose one of the ones that's already there, or I can choose upload, and I can upload another picture. That's up to you. Okay, team avatars are pretty cool. They don't always work the first time when you upload a picture, and sometimes the pictures are too big when you upload them, so you kind of have to play with it a little bit. But they are what they are there. Okay, all right, so I'm going to get out of that one. Well, maybe I'll make mine. Oh, I'm in English class, so maybe I'll go with Billy down here. Okay, now let's go back to my settings, manage team, and settings. All right, member permissions. You can read all these for yourself here. You won't want to allow members to create and update channels. That's not a good idea. Allow members to add and remove apps, to customize apps. We don't want to get into that. Okay, owners can delete all messages. That's important. Give members the option to delete their messages. I think that's good, and to edit their messages. If you think about just social media, Facebook and things, those are important things for kids to learn. You know, that unintended, you're going to teach them through Teams, which is great. Okay, so the default there I think is pretty good. Guest permissions. We're not going to go into guest permissions because I don't think you're going to have any guests. You're going to have everybody that's in-house. Guests are, you can invite people to your team, say somebody with a Google account. You could invite them through their Gmail to the team. They don't have all of the same options in the team, but it is possible to have them be able to see like the feed and such. Okay, mentions. This is you can allow them to do this. It's fine. It's just like Twitter in a way, where if you put @ and I put a name in there, they'll get a notification saying somebody mentioned you in a post. Okay, I may have mentioned this in another video, the team code. Now, if we were in school, this would be a great way for the kids to quickly get in to your team. Again, I'm going to cover this in another video about adding members, but we're kind of, I mean, if the kids knew how to use Teams, this would be useful, but I'm not sure if that's the case with a lot of our classes. But if you were to create a team and the kids knew how to use Teams, you could generate a code for them to join so you wouldn't have to add them. Okay? Fun stuff. I don't see really a reason as to why to change any of these, quite honestly. There's a strict filter for inappropriate content. Okay? So that's by default, and I would keep that. But Giphy is allowing you to add those, those animated GIFs you see in texts and in social media. Be able to allow stickers and memes and things. As long as it's appropriate, I don't see an issue for it. It's one of those things I might turn off if it became an issue, but I don't see a reason to off the bat. Okay, OneNote class notebook. If you've used that before, great. What it does is Teams creates a OneNote class notebook for you to use within the team, and it's all connected and everything. If you haven't used OneNote before, I would leave this one alone for right now. Okay, and tags. So tags, you're probably not going to use. You can tag to websites or to files and things. I think you're just going to attach them, so I wouldn't worry about that, and there's no need to change that setting. Okay, analytics, I wouldn't worry about it. You can go look and see how many members have used your team or have accessed your team. That's just what that is. And then apps. You can add all sorts of apps to this. And this is that setting that we talked about, connecting things to the team. That's where you can connect all these different apps to the team. You can look through here, and you're welcome to add what's there. Obviously, as long as it's 2D compliant, and we've been through all of that. Okay, so that is the settings for Teams, and we'll see you in the next video.